Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Sunday, April 19th, 2020, there is a planned protest at the state capitol of Washington State, Olympia, Washington. I want to talk about what's suspicious about this event because it is getting mainstream coverage. And consider Friday, March 13th, we organized a protest in Seattle. We called all the media. You saw the live stream where we talked to the media. No one reported on it. We might have created a wave, though, that weekend because we did get Event 201, what we were raising awareness about at the site of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation in Seattle. We were able to go get that topic to go viral on social media that weekend, but the mainstream media didn't cover it. So here in Washington, mainstream news is covering that there's this protest tomorrow, and the governor put out a statement about it. And what's funny is they've scheduled it for 1 hour. A 1 hour protest? Really, 1 hour? You're going to come out for 1 hour to make your message clear? Just an hour? So, again, this event, which has been called Hazardous Liberty, a suspect name for a protest, because think about it from Big Brother's point of view and the way the mainstream media will portray it. Hazardous, like not following Big Brother's orders, going out for an hour, not minding social distancing as it's been coined. Hazardous Liberty. We're going to get to that name. But again, I want you to see that this is most likely staged by the government as an experiment to see how many people will come out, probably to test their new facial recognition technology. Keep in mind, April 19th is the anniversary of the Oklahoma City bombing and Waco. And both events had to do with, violating rights. Timothy McVeigh, the Oklahoma City bomber, did it on the 2-year anniversary of Waco, and he said he did it as a statement that, he didn't like government overstepping their bounds, violating people's constitutional rights as they did at Waco. And ultimately, that's what this protest is about. It's not that I'm against the idea of the protest. It's just that I'm weary of the real reasoning for the protest. And I want to point out some things that back up my suspicions. So the governor of Washington, the chosen pawn for the chessboard, because in the United States of America, the elections are selections. They're rigged. They're predetermined. The top pawn gets the job. But from J. Robert Inslee, the governor of Washington's birthday, to this protest, April 19th, this curious date, is exactly 70 days. And we talked about this before with J. Inslee. His full name, J. Robert Inslee, has Gematria of 70, like coronavirus. And again, this has been a huge number in the ongoing coronavirus propaganda stories that are all contrived by the numbers. It's all over in the headlines. It's all over when you decode. But just from a day ago, Guatemala suspends deportations from U.S. after 70 test positive for coronavirus. Oregon coronavirus death toll, now it's 70. Again, this is right in the current news cycle. Santa Clara County COVID-19 death toll crosses 70. How many vaccines are they working on at the World Health Organization for coronavirus? 70. Chilean writer dead at 70 from coronavirus. All this vaccine stuff. Don't forget the first death in the nation was just outside of Seattle in Kirkland, Washington, home of Costco, who's selling a lot more toilet paper. But you had that nursing home with all the deaths in the beginning. They said 70 nursing home workers showed coronavirus symptoms. The number's just been around nonstop, and there's a lot more examples. But I'm just asking myself, okay, what are the odds that this protest at the Capitol, J. Inslee's city, is 70 days after his own birthday? And then, again, it's getting mainstream coverage. They're only going to put something in the mainstream if they want you to know about it. And this name, Hazardous Liberty, it has this gematria of 78 and 93 like Wuhan coronavirus. And recall, around March 10th, I said, watch. On March 18th, you'll see a headline of West Virginia becoming the 50th and final state to have coronavirus, and that's exactly what happened right at the start of March 18th. The headline was, West Virginia, last state without coronavirus, sees its first case. Again, March 18th, the 78th day of the year. Another number that's been all over the ritual. So Hazardous Liberty has the Gematria that's been coded in a lot of rituals that we've already uncovered. And if you just isolate the word hazardous, the curious word in the title, hazardous equals 113 like protest. And remember, that is huge with this entire ordeal. The coronavirus pandemic was declared March 11th, 11/3 like 113. Johns Hopkins University, who ran the Event 201 coronavirus outbreak simulation, as well as CLADE-X, 2 pandemic simulations. Johns Hopkins University, who's still giving us the numbers for the supposed cases and deaths worldwide, who ran the simulations with a similar type of numbers. Johns Hopkins University 113 like coronavirus pandemic like CLADE-X. And notice how hazardous, if you're new here, Gematria, very simple code. It's based on the alphabetic order, forwards and backwards. You can use it every single day to see through rigged elections, rigged sports games, and events exactly like coronavirus. Again, this knowledge gives you the eyes to see. And for you Washingtonians who doubt this, go back and look at Monday Night Football when the Seahawks beat the 49ers in San Francisco this year. That game was November 11th, 2019, Washington State's 130th birthday. Pete Carroll got his 130th regular season win in that game, and his 140th game counting the postseason. Washington equals 130 with the alphabetic order, 140 with the reverse. If you write out Seattle with the alphabetic order, it's 82. When Pete Carroll got his 82nd win with the Seahawks, becoming the winningest coach in Seattle history, passing Mike Holmgren. Right after that, Paul Allen died by the numbers, the owner of the team. Anyhow, again, this knowledge, it allows you to see through the riddles very, very clearly. And the ciphers, you want to know all 4, you don't need to know all 4, but if you know all 4, you'll see the riddles more clearly. The alphabetic order, A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, up to Z is 26. The next cipher reduction, the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3. The difference is you make each letter a single digit number, so like Z, the 26th letter, instead of being 26, Z is 2 plus 6 is 8. Y, the 25th letter, would be 2 plus 5 is 7. X, the 24th letter, would be 2 plus 4 is 6. You're just taking the numerology of each letter. Reverse alphabetic order is Z is 1, back to A is 26. And the last cipher is the reverse alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. But just look at hazardous. Again, 113 like protest. It's got the 130 and 49 like Washington. Keep in mind, George Washington was the Scottish Rite Freemason. Scottish Rite equals 78, which I should have mentioned, like Wuhan coronavirus, like Hazardous Liberty. But Scottish, it's got the 49, 113. So, and CLADE-X, it's got the Scottish numbers in it too. Again, Washington State, named after the Scottish Rite Freemason George Washington. These numbers all over the ritual. So Hazardous Liberty has me with an eyebrow up. That said, Truth Seeker, I'm going to be there tomorrow. I'm going to get up and drive out there. It's a little bit more than a 3-hour drive for me. I'm going to be there to document it and to help people raise awareness about the agenda, because a lot of people who will be there tomorrow will no doubt be Trump supporters and be part of the political system and still believing in government. And again, I'll be there with the facts to really open people's eyes to what's going on. Like, for example, anyone who thinks Trump is part of the solution, just be able to show them this ritual in real time. You know, this is undeniable information. It's more than letters and numbers. It's stuff like this right here. So again, Donald Trump on January 21st, 2020, the date the first case in the U.S., the date the first case of coronavirus was confirmed in the U.S., January 21st, 2020, which was in Seattle, Washington, home of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Mr. Vaccine, who co-hosted Event 201, the coronavirus outbreak simulation, the same Bill Gates who did the Netflix documentary a couple weeks later predicting all of this before it happened, the same Bill Gates who on January 22nd had the Netflix documentary Pandemic come out, the same Bill Gates who 3 years earlier in Davos, Switzerland on January 22nd, 2017 said there's an epidemic coming, very possibly intentional, and the same Bill Gates who's alluded to this even in the George magazine of 1997, where the article started on page 78. But Remarks by President Trump at the World Economic Forum. From his birthday to the day he did this was his 222nd day of his age, 222. World Economic Forum's 222, like Wuhan coronavirus is 222, like New York's 222, like Event 201 is 222, like how the Masonic motto, Order Out of Chaos, is 222. And again, from March 11th, 2020, the date the pandemic was declared, going back to September 11th, 2001, is exactly 222 months. And, you know, the mainstream media keeps comparing the death toll to 9/11, how it surpassed 9/11, how New York has now more deaths from coronavirus than they did from 9/11. And again, for all of us who are awake on 9/11, we knew that this next phase of a plan would come, and it would be even worse. And while they didn't knock down towers this time, they created another invisible boogeyman that could be around any corner, and they gave you a reason to give up your liberties and listen to Big Brother. And once again, technology's tied in. Back then we were just getting cell phones with cameras and recorders. Now we're getting 5G that takes internet technology to a whole new level, so they can unleash the surveillance state with pinpoint accuracy. They can monitor everyone walking around with their phones in their pockets and how close they are to, you know, the next person with the phone in their pocket. Are they observing social distancing? Are they following the guidelines, the curfew, the stay-at-home orders, the you should only be at this place, not this place, etc., etc. But for Trump to be at the World Economic Forum on his 222nd day of his age, gloating about world trade, like 9/11, the World Trade Centers, you got to be a fool to not realize that Donald Trump was the man born for the job, as he told you in the Serta sheep commercial, which I've been exposing nonstop for 5 years. Never seen that Trump commercial? I guess I'll just play it real quick, in case somehow you've never seen this before. But this is, I'll be there tomorrow to wake up all these people who think Trump's the hero and they still believe in government. Here it is, Truth Seeker.
So what do you think of my Trump home mattress collection by Serta? Finally, the same luxury and comfort I demand in my hotels.
Oh, they'll never count sheep again.
Listen, why don't you come work for me?
What do you have in mind?
Something you were born to do.
Welcome to room 9.
Looking good, number 9, looking good.
Where's your dignity?
Where's your dignity? So again, Trump's wearing the same suit and tie that he wore for selection night. Donald Trump was declared the 45th president-elect in the early hours of November 9th, 11/9, like the numbers on the sheep. Sheep on pillars, towers, 9/11, just think about it. But the reason he says looking good, number 9, looking good, is because if you add 1 through 9 together, it equals 45, like how he became the 45th president-elect, announced 11/9, the anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall, in the most pure cipher, the alphabetic order with the rules numerology, Berlin Wall's 45. Notice with the reverse alphabetic order, it's 63 like Serta. That matters because in 2016, he would become the president-elect, and when you add 1 through 63 together, it's 2016. Like how when you add 1 through 9 together, it's 45. So all of this was cleverly thought out. You know, where's your dignity? The proud pussy grabber who wants to have sex with his adolescent daughter, Donald Trump. Again, Mr. Wall Street, the anniversary of the fall of the wall, like I've been telling everybody since November 9th, 2016, when I made a video right after it was called. I said, this is not a good sign. This is a sign that Donald Trump is the order out of chaos president, which is exactly what I said then. They have bad things coming for us. The planned collapse of the economy, the next 9/11, it's all going to be here under Trump. Said it couldn't be any more Orwellian, people believing in this reality TV actor, this Hollywood type, who's mirroring Ronald Reagan, who was the 33rd governor of California after being a Hollywood actor. History repeating itself. Ronald Reagan tears down the wall, Donald Trump builds the wall. Just all sorts of mockery. And like I said, it'll be of biblical proportions. Holy Bible, 45, forwards and backwards. Who's his vice president? Mike Pence, 45, forwards and backwards. So there's been so many rituals that have just been dead on. Every single ritual with Donald Trump is dead on. Everything. Everything about the Trump character is a perfect script. when you have Gematria, you can see right through it. There's no way it's an accident that on his 222nd day of his age, he's gloating to the World Economic Forum about world trade while the first case is landing in Seattle, Washington. And remember, with regards to 121, January 21st, the date he was at the World Economic Forum, the date of the first case, remember, the headline that day was coronavirus outbreak, which equals 121. And it landed in the backyard of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation in Seattle, 121. Bill and Melinda Gates co-hosted Event 201 with Johns Hopkins University. Johns Hopkins University, 121. And the World Health Organization was also there, who declared the pandemic, who's in Switzerland, World Health Organization, 121. And I'll remind people about one other key thing with Trump being there on his 222nd day of his age. He would later sign that $6.2 trillion stimulus. And from the day that he was at the World Economic Forum to the day that he signed the stimulus, March 25th, a span of 65 days, $6.2 trillion in stimulus, which mostly goes to mega banks, mega corporations. As we've learned, there was none for small business. Think about that. This is an agenda. But 65 days, where was he? Switzerland, where the bankers are, where the World Health Organization is. Switzerland, 65. The original bankers of this world are the Knights Templar, who fled to Switzerland after they were booted from France. Knights Templar, 65. Pandemic, 65. Year of the Rat, 65. The Event 201 simulation killed 65 million people. They rushed the trial vaccine out in 65 days in Seattle, where the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is. By the way, those two were married 65 days apart, if they were ever even really married. They did that simulation that killed 65 million on Melinda Gates' 65th day of her age, from her birthday August 15th to the simulation October 18th, 65 days. So anyway, this event tomorrow in Washington State, where a lot of this is headquartered out of, being on this anniversary date, April 19th, Waco, OKC. Again, the Seattle Sonics moved to Oklahoma City and became the Thunder. Another thing to think about. Basketball's been a huge part of this ritual. Remember, the NBA suspended play on its 142nd day of season. Coronavirus 142, which was March 11th. The National Basketball Association 113. And the story was a member of the Utah Jazz, the only team in the league, the equals 113, Rudy Gobert of the Utah Jazz on March 11th, 11/3 tested positive, so they suspended the league. If you've read my book, I talk about the NBA 113, how they do big rituals around that number. So that's the number of the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry that the nation's capital is named after. And likely, all these participating entities are affiliated with. So, I'll also remind people that when Jay Inslee put the state in lockdown, Washington, he called it stay home, stay healthy, which equaled 263, the 56th prime, like coronavirus is 56, like toilet paper, like mind control, like how Gavin Newsom said 56% of Californians will have coronavirus in 8 weeks. 8 weeks is 56 days, like how Andrew Cuomo of New York's the 56th governor, and everything else we've documented. The same numbers all over the place. So, when Inslee said stay home, it was 43 days after his birthday. Pandemic's 43. You watch that movie, 12 Monkeys, that they turned into a TV show. It starts with after the pandemic in the year 2043, and then jumps back to the ancient Greeks in the year 430, and Greece equals 43. Again, you'll see these numbers are all over, from movies, TV shows, government. It's because the same organizations are controlling it all. And they're occultists, and they're practicing Kabbalah, where this code of letters and numbers comes from. Again, the Kabbalah states God created the world with numbers, letters, and words in its book of formation. And just like we pointed out when they put the state in lockdown, we pointed out the 70 thing. Now you have this protest 70 days after his birthday. So I'm not going to stay up too late, Truth Seeker, because I'm going to have to get to bed. I'm going to prep some stuff in the morning, hit the road, and try to get there a little bit early. It's only supposed to be a 1-hour protest, but I imagine people will get there early and stay after. We'll see if the law enforcement really starts pushing people off after the one scheduled hour for a protest. Doesn't that sound wrong? The law enforcement are going to tolerate the 1 hour period. So could end up being something like May Day 2012 in Seattle, which I was at. Got to see firsthand what was going on there. Got to choke on some gas thrown by the cops after some controlled opposition ran into the nonviolent protest. Men that moved like they were military, dressed in all black, started breaking windows at banks, and the next thing you knew, the cops were throwing gas all over all the people that were just trying to get out a message. So, see if there's anything like that tomorrow. Just like the WTO riots in 1999 in Seattle, they were instigated, turned into riots. They went from peaceful protest to riots by the same type of thing. People dressed in all black, making chaos. So, if you're new here, also, don't think that I'm against the concept of protesting. Again, March 13th, March 15th, March 16th, I was all around Seattle raising awareness about Event 201, the agenda. And can go back and watch that footage. Got to scroll back quite a few posts. And another one you can watch, gentleman came out and he filmed us there and he put together a little compilation video. I wish it was, I can't complain. He came out for free and did an awesome job. I wish it was just a little bit longer with some of the other interviews I did, but because we were there all day. I mean, we were there all weekend. There's a lot of footage, but 25 minutes and 30 seconds, it's not bad. And we got Deborah Horn of advertisement. What's that about?
That's a healthy 18-year-old brain. Mine is the
Let
other.
me skip that.
Oh, man, I just want to get.
But we got Deborah Horn to come out from Cairo 7, and she listened to us, but unfortunately they didn't run any big story about it. They really should have, so. Here, I'll link this in the chat if anybody wants to watch this later, what we were educating about then, and be educating about more tomorrow, so. If you guys are in Washington State, you can call me if you want to meet up and get together tomorrow in Olympia. The number to reach me is 509-731-0567. Again, 509-731-0567. Try to only call me tomorrow if you're actually planning to be there, because every time I put out my number and I'm at these protests, like when I was in New Orleans, I had people calling me nonstop while I'm pounding pavement trying to tell me about their D codes from across the country. I'm like, I appreciate this, man, but I'm out here in New Orleans trying to educate people on the street and they just keep talking about their D code. I'm like, okay, can you guys not call me with this right now while I'm trying to do this street campaign? So please only hit me up tomorrow if you're going to be there and you want to organize. But let me link that one more time in the chat. And I see that we got some super chats. That's nice. Thank you very much. Let me make sure. Somebody says this $5 better than what they could have spent on a movie. Well, I don't want to shortchange your friend because I don't plan to be on real long just because I want to get a decent night's rest. I got about a 3.5 hour drive tomorrow and I got to be there by 1 p.m. for the start time, so I want to be there before that. First pick of the WNBA draft went to the Liberty. Okay, that's interesting. Look into that, see if there's some riddles there. And somebody says, clutch right now, support the movement. Appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, you guys, well, I will be uploading video. I'll try to get the live. I bought that latest GoPro camera that's supposed to be able to live stream, and I have everything set up right, but it keeps giving me an error message when I try to live stream. So I'll try it out again tomorrow. If I can't live stream, I'll still record and get some footage out to you. So count on some footage from Olympia tomorrow, and I'll see you there if you can make it. But yeah, beware, it's going to be controlled opposition, no doubt about it. Hopefully they don't try to spray some crap on us. But the time's now to get the word out, and there'll be people there who will be willing to listen or more willing to listen. So got to seize the moment. All right. Welcome, everybody. Appreciate, again, the kind words. And see another super chat came up. Thank you for that, Jared. Appreciate it, man. So, all right, you guys, we'll keep it short and sweet. And again, if you missed this video, let me link it in the description one more time. Again, this is also a good way to learn how to talk to people on the street about this subject. And hold on, I remember this couple was in town from Mexico, and they wanted to pose for a photo. It was funny, but yeah, they were nice. Yeah, they wanted to get a picture, so they took some Gematria truth back to Mexico with them, and we were all kinds of violating the social distancing. But look, we all survived and lived to tell about it. So, all right, Truth Seeker. Again, appreciate all of you, and I'll give you the update tomorrow. I'll probably film some videos as I'm driving out there too. So, thanks, Grant. Appreciate that as well. All right, you guys. Robert says he just got the notification. Don't worry, Robert. You can go back and watch the video. It's a short but sweet one. And let me hit looking for truth up for a wrench. He's a veteran. So, all right, you guys. Good night. Until next time.